right, the call meeting to order at 7 o'clock and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On to attendance and appointment of alternates. We are all here, but I would like to welcome Noreen. Welcome aboard. We are so happy to have you.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
All right, so next is approval of agenda, and
I want to add the audit RFP.
so if you can make a motion of
I move we had audit RFP under new business.
it. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, so that will go under cybersecurity. All right, so approval to accept the amended agenda.
I move we accept the agenda as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to approval of minutes, starting with special meeting December 16th.
I move we approve as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Oh,
Abstain.
Yep. The special meeting December 18th,
I move we approve as presented.
and a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And on to regular meeting December 18th.
I move we approve as presented.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I was here for that one.
You was. You were.
I did. You did that.
All right, we're on to public participation. All right, on to communication, of which I have none. Amy?
I have none.
All right, we're getting right along here, all right. Monthly reports, town financial. On to Miss Amy.
I have nothing new to report unless anybody has any specific questions.
I just marked two things and it just
Okay.
maybe
Nope.
percentage, because I looked at percentages of where things were at as far as.
Revenues or expenditures?
Expenditures.
Okay.
Of course, now I gotta find it. And it just may be because the way things get paid, but workers' comp was at 28, is that the one at 28% a year? Now, is that an insurance or is that stuff you have to pay out?
Workers' comp is an insurance premium.
Okay, so that's,
My guess is it's only the first quarter. But I don't know that. I can check.
well, it just says there's 28% remaining and we were, so I don't know. if
Oh,
it's-
so we probably paid 3/4 already.
Okay, so it's, all right, so that's not a, it's not claims, that's the insurance.
Right,
part
that's,
of it.
yeah. We don't pay claims out of perma pays.
Okay, gotcha. And then the same with the property and liability, it's just that we're paying as we go along, that's the only ones that caught me.
Yeah, so those are probably billed at the beginning of the quarter.
Okay,
So we have probably already paid the 3/4.
okay.
So
those are
they
the
both
only
have a
ones-
little bit of surplus,
Okay.
one more than the other, but not by much.
Because everything else looked like it was, I mean, I just looked at, we're 50% of the year, and those are the only ones
Yeah.
that were really way beyond 50%.
And I actually use these numbers in the budget stuff I'm putting together for Jason, so that it will be 6 months. I think that's an easier number for everybody to figure out. So that's what I'll be using for the presentation of current year also.
Okay. That was my question.
Perfect.
I have a
Anybody else?
question.
Yep,
Under police department, the
Okay.
training,
yep.
is that because of the K-9 unit?
It is not.
Oh,
It just happens to be the number of people. That's the overtime they get paid.
I'm not
So-
asking for overtime, I'm asking about training.
No, but the training is salary. Right?
Okay.
The training is a
Oh,
salary
right,
line, so
right.
that depends on who on night shift has to go to get resorted during the day.
I
So they're
gotcha.
working their shift and getting paid overtime to be at training.
Okay,
So it's just a matter of timing, and we really don't have a lot of control about that.
no, okay.
So he did say, we asked about it in our budget meeting the other day, actually, and he did say that they were doing only minimum, absolutely had to go, because the budget was already spent.
Okay,
And they will be able to cover it in their officer line, because they do have a vacancy. So they will be able to cover it with the savings of their officer line.
Okay, good.
Anybody else?
So if they were fully staffed and they had to do that training, there would be an override?
Probably, it's just the timing of who needs to go, because everybody has to get restarted, but every so many years on certain things. So not everybody has to go every year. So it really just depends the schedule of the people that need to go. You know, we have people on 24. So you got somebody working 24 hours a day when they have to go to training during the day. It just causes, so it's just the nature of the, I think the 3 years I did the trend, and the 3 years have all been fine up till now. So it's just the, who had to go work what shift.
That was the one that we talked about, though, the
It is
training.
not.
Oh, that's
The
not the one.
education and dues
Education and dues, no,
Is the one
okay.
we talked about, and that
Yep.
one's fine. That one.
Is that gonna stay fine? Did they mention, or?
Yeah, I think that one will stay fine.
Okay.
They did mention that they're putting in for a request for next year because they have a new dispatcher that is getting his degree. And that was the group that was not included in the budget.
Okay.
So originally it was 57 and then somehow it got dropped down to only 45.
Okay.
So that is in the police, it is the education and dues line, which is the 52,400.
Mhm.
We budgeted 45. But that's if you added all their contracts together, that number should be 57. But because trend had been under 40 for the last 4 years, we didn't put it back in. But they are asking for, in this next go around, they're asking for half of the dispatchers for the dispatcher that they know that will be taking classes. One of the new hires. So, but that line should be fine.
Any other questions? You did mention budgets, so just as long as we're in financials and all that good stuff, how is that going for you and Jason right now?
Jason and I have met with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So we should have budgets together, I'd say within the next week, for everything we need to do. So we've talked to everybody. We were waiting on a few numbers of the people like the outside organizations, because they haven't given us necessarily theirs, like maybe Health District hasn't given us what their number will be, or somebody like that. So those outside organizations we don't have yet, but the bulk of them we have everything that. So yeah, we've met with everybody.
Great.
We had meetings all last week, every day, all day long, 4 and 5 hours a day, and this week. So, it's good.
All right. So we're on track.
Yes,
All right. Transfers.
we don't have
I don't
any.
have any.
I put it on here thinking I had one, but I didn't. I had done it previously.
Yes.
So we get to skip that item.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. All right. Board of Selectmen updates and referrals.
I have none from Jason, and he couldn't be here because he has to be at some other public meeting tonight for the
All right.
town.
Board of Education.
Chose not to be here because they said there was no change in their financial situation. But they did provide financials,
They did.
which I included in your package. I got them early enough to include in your package, so they didn't have to be a separate email.
I mean, they do sit close to where they were the last time that they were here. So.
That's what her email said that came to us.
Mhm.
I think I forwarded it to everybody, so that you guys would know they wouldn't be here if you had other questions.
Yeah.
To get to them.
Nope. All right, on to new business. All right, so Warehouse Point Fire District, the deficit.
Okay,
How you
so
have to book it.
we had a meeting with our auditors on December 16th, and part of their presentation was the governmental fund highlights, was that there's both a deficit in the school cafeteria fund of $57.56, and a deficit in the Warehouse Point Fire Fund of $10,149. So you asked me to put it on the agenda so we could talk about it.
And how we're gonna, where we put it.
Yep,
Or how
so what I printed out for you guys is on the audit, page 68, is a combining
There's in front of you,
balance sheet.
separate.
No, yeah, it's in front of everybody separately, a separate sheet. It wasn't part of the package. I left them on everybody's place. So page 68 is a combining balance sheet. So basically what happens to the Warehouse Point Fire District is the agreement is that we pay them 100% of whatever their taxes are in July, and then we recoup it. But last year, we had the same issue on the town side. There were things included in the grand list that shouldn't have been, So they got given more money than they should have gotten. But the adjustments were made after the amount was already given to them. So we found out about them in August, September, as I brought them to him and said, hey, wait a minute, we're gonna have a $600,000 tax problem on the town side. So this caused an issue on their side because there were taxes that then got abated because they had exemptions that were not included on the grand list. When they gave them their exemptions, there wasn't as much tax to collect, so it left them in a deficit position. We have no mechanism to recover that. The town side, the general fund absorbs it. So the mechanism to get this back would be over time, if there was extra money collected because people paid late and there was either penalties or interest recovered, could offset this going forward. So, but as you look on the audit, it's actually combined. General fund plus heart and hypertension plus the storm emergency fund plus the warehouse plate fire plus the casino, if there was anything, would be all added together and then put in as the consolidated general fund. So it doesn't truly stand on its own.
Okay.
So I don't think we need to do anything. I don't think we need to go get an additional appropriation to cover it. I think we should just let it ride and see what it looks like at the end of June for this year. We should not have that problem in this fiscal year. We don't have that same issue.
Okay. that
And
was
I
my
actually got a
question.
grand list already, and it looks like $15 million is our increase for next year.
Okay.
That came across my desk today. So I think we don't need to do anything. But because it was brought up by the auditor, I thought we needed to discuss it and at least talk about why it's there and what our options are.
And he was fine with us waiting to June and roll it out and
Yep.
see where we end up.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. I mean, I don't really think we have to make a motion on that. I mean, we're just.
No, I just wanted,
Yeah.
it was a,
Yep.
more to let you guys know
Yeah.
what our choices were and where it came from and what
And
we
that
knew
won't-
about it.
And it won't happen again and
It should not.
onward. All right. So then we go to school.
So then the next one was the school, so that next page, page 77 that I gave you. So the difference is that Andy didn't account for his change in inventory. So when Andy sent the money over to the cafeteria fund at the end of the year, he sent $91,000 of their own money, plus the $91,000 of the additional appropriation that they got, over to the cafeteria to fund the last year's deficit and the current year deficit. But he didn't take into account his change in inventory, which went down. So his deficit came about because he had money in inventory that got spent down that he did not account for. So it left them in a deficit position. So the Board of Ed will have to fund this in this year so that they're whole by June 30 of 20. Because this was one of the things they had an issue with last year,
Right.
that there was a big cafeteria deficit. So we tried to fix it for June 30 of 19. We missed by a little bit, but now he knows that inventory is an issue. And as soon as he has that inventory list, he knows he needs to make up the difference.
Well,
Could go the other way, but in most cases it doesn't.
right. But they've already told us that they're already in a deficit, running a deficit right now.
Yeah, but that could be part of it. I mean, they've known about this since probably October. So I'm not so sure this isn't, it was too late to do anything about it last year, and they did return about $11,000 last year.
Yeah.
Had they known that this was coming, then, and that they were gonna have to account for it, they could have actually paid it out last year.
Right, because it really is last year's.
Right. But they didn't find out about it until after the numbers had all been presented and given to Mike. Mike was the one who said,
Mike found it, not Andy.
right. Yep. So that $5,756 will have to be made up, in addition to whatever this year's deficit is.
Which she's projecting 100,000 again, I
Right.
think she said.
Yep.
Which, that's for another day. Okey-doke. Any questions?
What's in the inventory?
That would
Probably
be-
dry goods,
Yeah, like,
flour,
Flour,
sugar,
salt,
things not
pepper.
open yet. Things that they could still use come September.
That,
Maybe canned soup. I don't know what they serve them,
peanut
but
butter? Does that have
Yeah.
some?
probably unopened containers
Yeah.
of.
Are we all good?
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, sorry, I was moving on. Cybersecurity audit.
No, so that one is on here because it was one of the pages of the presentation also. It's your last page of your package. And he just recommended that with cybersecurity being such a hot issue, that we should consider having an audit. I think Joe will probably tell you that our guys do a pretty good job, and we do have an outside set of people. So I don't know that we necessarily need one, but Tom expressed an interest in it. And so I put it on here so you guys can talk about it.
All right, let's talk. I don't know, Joe, you're here, so might as well tap into you as far as IT and all of that good stuff. So you're of the position that you don't feel it's necessary right now, correct?
No. No, we're pretty tight. Matter of fact, there's grumbling because currently I have a Wi-Fi router hooked up for Amy's Munis training, and I won't give the password out to any of the employees because I don't feel they need it. Because Wi-Fi is the easiest way anybody's getting into our system. So there's no reason, and currently we're installing what they call access points, which are way more secure because they go through our firewall. They won't allow anybody in, well, anybody, supposedly anybody, but we're constantly checking, doing things. We'll be running some test scenarios. I'm scheduled to go to a cyber something at the end of the month.
We actually hosted one here too. We had, I don't know, there were probably 12 or 15 of us in this room. Kermit came out and did a cybersecurity and basically said, it's you guys as the end users. That when you get a suspicious email with that
Right.
link, like we just
It's
got,
the same thing at
Rebecca
our
just got
work.
hacked. So we got emails saying, I placed your order. And
Yeah.
Gail's like, what's this? And I'm like, don't touch it. And I said, let's let Rebecca know that she probably got hacked because it was just a link. And I'm like, Rebecca would never order for us. So, but obviously people hacking didn't know that.
About
So-
3 weeks ago, I got an email stating that the IT department needs my password because it needs to be changed. So please send us your password or click on the link. So I forwarded it out to all the town employees to say, this isn't me, this isn't the, so I mean, we're good. Most of the people will question, I mean, not most, but all of the people, I would say, will question before they do anything, and they know right away what to do to unplug out of the unplug the network right on the back of your computer, shut it off and call. I mean, we have a cloud-based antivirus. We use semantics that it does securities and sweeps on everything every night anyways. Downloads 2 to 3 times a week, checks everything, and the consultant's constantly on our server. You know, we're good unless somebody clicks on anything, and there's, no matter how much security you have, you're not gonna fix that. I'm going to CROG thing, I believe, or CCM thing. Or maybe it's a CCM thing.
Yeah, Kermit did a presentation here.
Yeah.
And it was well attended. There were people from other communities also.
Yeah, the whole thing is if you get an email and, you know, if it says, the end of the email says @hotmail.com or there's Chinese writing on it, you know, you have to be aware. And I think everybody's pretty much aware because we will find out who did it. And they will be persecuted.
Track them down.
All right, any questions for Joe? Any other comments? I do also think to a certain extent, this is something that if we thought it was necessary, we would send on to the Board of Selectmen. It's not something we would do.
I think it was just brought to you guys
Yeah.
from the audit perspective, so.
Yep. Any other questions?
Were they questioning that we didn't have it, or were they just questioning that we should have it?
It was just
Just a
I
question
think it
of
was
what
a
we had.
follow, it was things you could do, other matters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is where it came under in his presentation. He just felt like it's something that a lot of towns have been hacked and ransomware, and
Right.
I mean, it's in the paper, pick up any paper any day. I actually went to a presentation at one of my GFOA things, and it was a guy from the FBI. And I said to him, okay, so what do I do about the text that I keep getting that tells me, or the phone calls that keep telling me that my social security number's been compromised and I can't use it? I said, well, why are they still taking social security out of my paycheck if my social security number is no good? And he said, that's a new one, they hadn't heard it yet, but they have several like that out there. But I was getting calls almost daily about my social security number being compromised.
So the auditors were just questioning that we had a plan in place, basically.
Or as a
Or to think
a
about
best
it.
practice,
Yeah.
you should consider,
Yeah.
you know, what's out there, the risks that are out there. Do you need to do something?
Right.
What kind of plans we have in place, what kind of security we have in place? That's all. It was just things to think of.
We've just updated, every single place has a brand new sonic wall, or at least 1 year old. I've been, Public Works is about a year old. And, you know, they're constantly being watched by our consultant anyways. You can tell. I mean, you really can. The only way we're gonna get hacked is if someone clicks on that damn email and it backs up to the server, or goes to a website they shouldn't. You know, I mean, that's only way they're really gonna get in, you know.
As a layperson, the two questions I would have, is there ever any testing done where someone comes in and sends out a fake email to see if any employees are opening it? And I know that sounds distrustful.
No, believe, we're, and I don't,
Yeah.
we're actively seeking out, actually, some of our, I don't want to accuse anybody, I'm not going to mention any names, but, you know, we're actively checking, and yes.
Because I could see where we hire a new employee and they're not up to speed, and they're the one that's going to get the fake email because they haven't had all the training. So that's always a concern.
Yes,
And,
we will
where-
be probably doing another round of tests, I will just tell you this year.
Okay,
I won't tell you when, but.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is there any way to block people from going out to specific sites?
We don't limit, there is, yes, but we really don't limit people. I mean, we have a policy, I believe, that says that this is town property, or,
Right.
I mean, you know, but, I mean, there's no limitations. Nobody can download anything without my access. No, not even the first selectman. And Amy can testify, no matter what it is, if you want to download it, it won't happen.
Okay, that's good to know.
Unless I'm called and I put my password in, or, so,
That's good to know.
yeah. So, but as far as people going out on the web, we don't, there's no real policy for that. I think everybody's told that, you know, you're not supposed to go to your bank, you're not supposed to
Right.
go shop on Amazon and all that. Whether it's, we don't monitor people.
Right.
We don't have the staff to. So, but they're locked up pretty tight as far as downloading anything.
Okay, good.
And because of we use Outlook online, and they're great at spamming everything. If it looks funny, it goes to spam, or it goes right to junk.
Right.
So normally Outlook will give you the most common people, and everything else will go. So they're really good about security too.
Okay. Good to know.
Anybody else? All right, onward to Audit RFP.
So the bad news is we're out of contract with our auditors. It's even worse news because he, last year, did away with some clients. So keep our fingers crossed. I don't know how many we got last time, but 3 years ago we went out. And I don't know how many we got last time, but.
I think it was 3 or 4, and they were right there with everybody else, so I think we stuck with them if my memory serves me right. But I think we had 3 or 4.
So I was not here, but I have a regular audit RFP that I would send out. So do you guys want to have them back for a March meeting? What are you thinking? You have to appoint by May
Right.
something. By your May meeting, you have to appoint, because I have to send a notification to the state 30 days before June 30th.
So then we need to do March, because then
March.
come late, mid-March, April, we're gonna be in the middle of audit season too, so it's gonna all be, yeah, definitely. All right. On to unfinished business, which I don't think there is any.
I do not have any.
I do not. No. All right, on to board member comments. Let's start with you, Tom. I look to the right. And it moves that way better. Barb?
I'm good.
I have nothing.
Nice.
Nothing for me.
Nothing?
Noreen?
Like these 25-minute meetings.
I do too. They're very rare. All right, so our next meeting is February 19th. And we are ready for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I will tell you, Board of Selectmen budget meetings are gonna be starting February
June.
6th, I think. February 4th or February 6th.
Okay, so
So
they
they'll
have
be
scheduled
sooner
together
before-
yet, or?
I don't know if they approved them, I'm thinking maybe that's
No,
on.
they're not approved, I can tell you that.
Huh?
They're
Oh,
not
but you
approved,
guys
I
didn't
can
go
tell you
over 'em
that.
yet? Okay.
No.
All right.
So they're coming, but they
All
start
right.
before our next meeting.
When's their?
Because
what is
Jason last
today?
month asked us to,
We're next Thursday.
to consider
Okay.
coming. Last month, he asked the Board of Finance to consider coming to their presentations
Right.
versus doing 2 whole sets
Yeah,
of presentations. But, so if they start earlier than that, you guys won't be here until February 19th again. So as soon as that gets done, I will send it out.
yeah. And I don't have a problem doing that. It's kind of hard sometimes for everybody to get it to every single one. That's how it kind of came to, it's optional if they want to come. It's not like we're asking them to come. They don't have to come to our, looking over of it. It's optional. But optional leaves us to guessing if one of us didn't make it to the thing, so. But we'll talk about it after they
Okay.
set their schedule and see how it goes.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
So,
Awesome.
but if you're talking about their meeting starting on the first week of February and we're not meeting again until the 19th, when are we gonna?
True.
they're already
That's what I said, I'll have to
She'll
send
send
something
emails.
out as soon as they set their dates.
Yeah,
I'll send the budget calendar out to you guys.
yeah.
So, and obviously their agendas will be out posted on the
Yeah.
website under the Board of Selectmen. So whoever's coming to what meetings will be all
Right.
posted.
Yeah,
They'll probably be close to the meeting dates, so that gets set so far ahead of time.
right.
So you might only find out on Monday that Tuesday is somebody's coming, or Thursday somebody's coming. But,
And ours switched up a little last year because we switched ours a couple times. So, okay, sounds good. All right, motion to adjourn? Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a great, couple weeks, and then I'll see you. So it is next week? So what is next Thursday? Their meeting,
the 23rd?
so their meeting's on the 23rd?